Hey, welcome to the internship. My name's Jessica. You've already met me, but just going to get a little more in depth on some of these things on these worksheets. On this first one, honestly, it's a lot of you diving into you. So there's not right answers or wrong answers. There's not much I can really tell you because this is you just exploring for yourself. But I'll give you a little insight on my thoughts after being in the business for 18 years of kind of what might be important to think about. First off, why do you want to run your own business? That's really the big why. And from this internship, hopefully you'll decide if it's something you want to do or not. So kind of open-ended on that one. What are the pros? For me, the reason I opened my own business was because I wanted to make my own decisions. I didn't want to have to have an idea and go through multiple levels of approval before I could implement it. I wanted to make my own hours. I wanted to not have a ceiling. I used to be a teacher, so I kind of outgrew that position in that I couldn't move up, where having my own business felt like I could control my destiny a little bit more. What kinds of lifestyle or schedule do you hope to create? This one I think is a big one, and I think having this in mind at the beginning is really important, but also acknowledging that you aren't going to have it immediately. For me, a lot of it is the lifestyle that I want. I want time with my son. I want the schedule during his school hours. I want to have that freedom. But to be honest, it took years to get there. At the beginning, I personally had to work nights, weekends, whenever clients wanted in order to get the clients in, to get the client base up, so that then I could pare down to the schedule that I really wanted. Things can be different for everyone, but that was just my experience. So I think it's a great thing to have in the forefront when you're making a decision, but also acknowledging that it may be a few years before that you really accomplish your true goal of the schedule you truly desire there. 3 differences between being an employee and a business owner. Yeah, so this one, there's so many, and anything you've written down is probably correct, but the ones that come to mind for me: as an employee, you go to work, you do your work, you go home. You don't have the weight of the business on your shoulders all the time. You aren't worried about if you're going to have clients or not. You're not worried about if you're going to make rent or not. So some of those worries are off of your shoulders. On the flip side of that, you'll make a lot more. You'll have a lot more control about who you see, when you see them, how you're doing your job. So the control part of controlling, who's on your table and the type of work you're doing may be offsetting that desire to not have the stress and worry, because there are some stresses and worries that just come with being a business owner, and that's just the facts of it. Other very logistical things like health insurance being included and health insurance not being included, retirement versus being in charge of your own retirement. In my opinion, those are not big deals. You can manage those. I can set you up to talk to the right people to get those going. But those are logistical things that you need to consider. Obviously, the taxes, being a W-2 versus a 1099, you're in charge of your own taxes. Again, not a big deal, something you can handle, but a difference to acknowledge. Which mindset fits you better? I can't answer this one for you. Really something to reflect on. And this is something that can change over time. You may start in one bucket and go to a different. I know business owners that are over it and want to just go be an employee because they know all the ups and downs of both. I know a lot of people who start as employees and really want to come in and be a business owner. I'd also like to just acknowledge the difference between being a business owner, where you have other people under you, versus being your own boss, a solo practitioner. Most people I work with in my practice are under that category. That is an awesome category to be in. Some days I dream of being in that category and not having the stress and weight of managing other people on me. but that's the path that I've chosen, and I absolutely love my business most days. It just feels like that solo practitioner is something that's not available in all industries, and it's a really amazing option if it's the right one for you. You get all the control that you might desire, you get that flexibility of schedule without so much weight of managing other people. So there's sort of three buckets for us in this industry of being an employee, a W-2, being a solo practitioner where you would be managing your own clients but not responsible for other people's, and then being a business owner where you manage a practice or something to a higher degree. All the things that go into running a practice, well, there's a lot there. We'll go through some worksheets later in this trainings too of all the things that go into running a practice, but I think the things really to note for right now would just be, securing your space. How are you going to be scheduling those clients? What marketing are you going to be doing? How are you managing your finances? Do you have a CPA? Are you getting a loan in order to start up, or do you have money set aside to do those startup costs? Furnishing everything, signage, logos, websites, like everything costs money, and you really don't have to have everything on day one, but all of those things are part of running a successful practice. Again, as a solo practitioner, you have a lot of different options. At my business, I do most of those, and people can come in and just rent a room. That way I've covered 90% of the things on that checklist. You've got your room, you've got your furnishings, you've got your signage, you've got, if you want to jump in on my software, you've got your software, and literally it's just a plug and play. You just come in with your clients, run your business. You don't have to worry about all that overhead. If you were finding your own space, you would have a longer checklist of things that need to be done. And yeah, that's just the running day to day. Of course, you've got all the things that you need just to practice, which would be your licensure, your insurance, business license for the city you choose to practice in. Those are very easy things to do. They're just things you need to check off that checklist before you can actually start. What strengths do you bring to this profession? That's all on you. But a great thing to reflect on, just to see which bucket that sort of puts you in. If you're thinking about your personal strengths, are you more inclined to be a great employee, or are you better to be working on your own, or do you really have those strengths to be that business owner who's running multiple locations or practices or managing other people? Managing other people is a totally different skill than managing your solo practice. So just something to reflect on. And then, what parts of business ownership feel confusing or intimidating? Again, this is a great one for you to be reflecting on and bringing these up to me when we're in our one-on-one time, or when you're in the office with me, so that I can bring you some more clarity. A lot of times the things that are feeling intimidating or confusing are the things that you've just never done or don't know how to do, but oftentimes they're pretty easy things to do. Getting a business license, getting an LLC, like those types of things, they feel intimidating, but they'll take an hour, and then it's done, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. Oh my gosh, I don't have life insurance, or not life insurance, but health insurance. Like, I've always had it at my career. What do I do? This is super overwhelming. It's really not that big a deal. I'll connect you with a broker who can talk you through everything and help you find the right thing. Those types of things are very easy solutions. Some things are a lot bigger, so that would be something I'd love to talk with you about when we're one-on-one.